It's time to answer questions about business, life, advertising, marketing in general from me, Devin Nash, founder of Agency Novo, creative marketing agency, and altogether internet guy. Here we go. We're going to answer all kinds of questions that you ask in the Ask Devin channel on discord.gg/Devin. Beginning with 032625. We're a little bit behind, but it's okay. We're catching up once a month or so. A lot of people actually like these videos, so we'll keep doing them. Ever read the Book of the Five Rings? I have. I thought it was underwhelming compared to other books that I have read. I've read a lot of self-improvement books and a lot of books like that, which I guess like Book of Five Rings weirdly kind of falls into. And a lot of those, that's one of those overhyped ones. There's some good stuff to get out of it. Can people get banned for showing clips of Dr. Disrespect on Twitch? But can they also get banned for using emotes that feature the doc as well? Sure, you can, technically. I mean, it's not ever going to happen. It's one of those things where, like, the Twitch terms of service is going to be different. It's going to say something, but generally speaking, I think that Twitch will depreciate the ban. Like, you can't show banned streamers on stream over time. They kind of already have, because YouTube can ban somebody, and they don't really care if you show that person afterwards, as long as you just don't have that person, like, live on your broadcast. Kind of a dumb rule. Do you think that the COD league or partnership is going to make people rethink their Twitch partner contracts, considering they will not be able to participate, as they're required to stream their gameplay to YouTube for the event? No, I don't think so, and in practice, we didn't see this happen. The Call of Duty League, much like much of what Activision Esports is kind of a joke. I've made a lot of videos about it. I don't think that anybody is going to seriously consider renegotiating or dropping their Twitch partner contracts in order to just pursue that league. I think they should consider dropping their Twitch partner contracts for other reasons. I mean, at this point, there is essentially no reason to be a Twitch partner unless you are a top-level partner and you're earning like on a 70-30 split and you have some kind of cash incentive from Twitch. Like, it's really, really stupid right now that people are still, like, especially like affiliates. I just can't believe there are still affiliates. There are affiliates that still watch my channel, and they're still affiliates. There's no reason to be an affiliate. Or if you are, you should just be an affiliate and multi-stream to TikTok and to YouTube at the same time. It's crazy to me that people still lock into that exclusivity. It's the biggest grift that Twitch has. So people are not dropping their partner contracts even when they should be. What are your thoughts on Twitch's? A lot of Twitch questions. So what are your thoughts on Twitch's customer service? I think it's non-existent. My advice is to never rely on anybody's customer service or like. Here's the thing. Like, I personally have had countless problems that don't get resolved. So like, this dude has had like countless problems with his Twitch stream. Man, I was streaming for 8 to 9 years. I never contacted customer service. Like, what do you need to talk to them about Twitch? Usually, like, if you're contacting, like, I've never contacted a platform for anything, right? Like, usually if you're contacting Twitch, like, it's you that has the problem. You got to work around it. Like, you can't rely on anybody else to, like, solve your issues. Like the platform's not going to do you any favor. It's not going to do anything for you. Just like, you might have to create a new account. You have to do whatever you have to do, even if it's a bug, if it's their fault. Like, right? You just can't rely on that. Is uploading VODs from YouTube live streaming a good idea, i.e. in addition to videos I make which are planned or produced? Or should I upload evergreen content that is created and edited? So this is a great question, and it's actually relevant because like months later, I would have given a really different answer if I'd answered this on time. These days, it's super, super valuable to upload pretty much everything to YouTube. As a content creator, if we just go to my channel, I'll show you my base channel. You're going to see that one of the newest updates for YouTube here was that they... Oh, is this not activated on my channel? Interesting. Or it is. It's just I don't have any of the other stuff. But you'll see up here if that content is available. There'll be shorts. There'll be live streams. And so all of that stuff has been effectively separated into a new carousel. What that means is that previously, uploading a YouTube live stream to a channel or uploading a short might affect things like your average watch duration, might affect things like your retention. But these days, uploading more is better. So the way that YouTube is going and the way that their algorithm and like that they currently are building their system to be, if you live on YouTube, you do community posts, you do live streams, you do shorts, that should all be rewarded. And your communities, the communities that consume that content are going to be separate but not bothered by each other. So, for example, there's going to be a different sort of person that likes to consume 30-second videos versus a different person that likes to consume 45 or minute or an hour videos. But that same person there's not going to run into the stuff they don't like on your channel at this point. There's going to be served the content that is recommended to them. YouTube has built the most successful recommendation system on earth. Debatedly, TikTok is better at short form, but they don't have long form or any of the other stuff down. So on YouTube now, uploading the live stream is totally fine. It just goes into your live streaming section. Doesn't affect your AVD on your normal videos or whatever. So live stream as much as you want. Put the VODs up. Doesn't matter. The YouTube system is truly impressive. That goes for shorts and everything too. People can ask more questions about that, but I cover that a lot on Patreon. So I kind of go over like the specific algorithm stuff. A quick yes or no. Do you leave a stream or YouTube video in the background when you work? I do, actually. Yeah, that's funny. It's a cool question. I usually watch gamers. I actually hate IRL content. I especially drama stuff. Like, I can't stand it. So I watch a lot of like some middle-sized, like small to middle-sized like Path of Exile streamers. People like Garatha or like Steel Mage. I watch a lot of people that just play video games and like don't put a lot of emphasis on their streams. So like I guess like the only large streamer I really watch a lot of is Soda Poppin', because I love that there's like a low impact stream that's about video games. I think that's about what Twitch is, and I just hate the direction that Twitch has gone personally. And it's one of the reasons why I just kind of like just dropped back from the website. I was like, it's just not it's not made for me anymore, which is fine. Like that's like the case with a lot of things, but there's still a core section of Twitch that is like gamers that like really love playing games, and I love watching those people, and I have a lot of those people on my list that I watch. That said, that like I will have those people on if I'm answering like emails and things like that, but I also believe firmly in deep work. And by deep work, I mean that there are periods of time during my day where if I'm doing something difficult, I will turn off everything I can, because I think that we live, I think in a world where distractions are so prominent, like it's actually a superpower to be able to like focus. And so I orient a lot of my life towards trying to do that well, because I know it gives me the edge that a lot of other people don't have, is that I can like focus on stuff. And that said, I'm not like infallible at that. Like I mess up a lot, but that's a big thing. Okay, let's keep going. So I'm gonna increase myself a little bit. Content that's irrelevant to work and not a video about Web3 research. Web3. Okay, I don't know what that is. What are your thoughts on NFT-based rights management for creators, and do you think platforms like YouTube will enter that space? I think that, so we're at a weird place with NFTs. It looked like NFTs were going to do what they're supposed to do for a while there, but then there were so many scams and there were so few people that understood the real value of NFTs that the entire thing collapsed. And now I think there's a systemic risk of NFTs basically not taking off until we rename it to something different. And the public is introduced to it in a new way. So there are still opportunities, particularly with content creators, to do NFT type stuff that's valuable to people. So like, for example, you could create 10 exclusive, actually, let me give you the best example I think ever, of anyone that's ever done an NFT, I think. And that's from Logan Paul. And you're gonna be like, what? But hang on. I'm just gonna Google this. So Logan Paul did this $1.7 million project, $1.8 million, called 99 Originals. And what he did was he took a original picture of something in his life, like every single day. Not every day, actually, just when he like found a time to do it. And then he not only gave you the physical Polaroid, but he also sold the NFT to it. And these did phenomenal. And this is a really cool way for a content creator to do this. You get something physical, but you also, so you have ownership there, but you also have ownership of the actual digital value too. So I love this idea of like an NFT being a digital and a physical asset at the same time. It's a perfect example of how this ought to be implemented. But unfortunately, everybody did Bored Apes. Everybody did stupid art designs and wiggly worms and shit like that. And everybody treated it as an investment instead of what it should have been. Everyone that doesn't think that NFTs can work is just not familiar with the high level art space for rich people, which is like there's a whole culture of people that appreciate art and trade art on a high level. and there's a whole value system that goes into that that's beyond the scope of this video. It's very possible to create NFTs that have really beautiful cultural value, but all of that was lost in the scramble when people treated these as investments to make money off of, which was not what art was about and is not what NFTs are about. Unfortunately, now I think we're in a situation where content creators, I just speaking from complete personal experience, 6-8 months ago or so, when cryptocurrency was at its high, might have been longer now, I think it was longer, I told the company we're going to focus 10% of our effort on Web3. That means like 10% of all the deal flow that we're going to do is going to be through Web3. And we did it. And we did a lot of NFT work. We did a lot of Web3 work and legitimate projects that were like legitimate games, like some of the stuff that Gullah Games was making with like games like Superior or games like Townstar. So these are like full-blown games that are really good that you can play without using NFTs. We did a lot of work on those projects. And then once the whole thing started collapsing, NFTs became so toxic to content creators that you basically couldn't get it. You couldn't offer them enough money to run an NFT on their channel, because if you did, they would like their entire community would just eat them up, right? It's so frustrating. It's one of these things where it's like it's a really beautiful thing, but nobody like really understands it. They just like go to like whatever like the popular people are saying about it, and they don't really look into it. So unfortunately, I think that NFTs are basically dead for as long as it matters to be concerned about it. Like, I'm not looking at any kind of NFT or Web3 based thing for like 4 to 5 years. And I think that the current evolution of cryptocurrency represents a systemic risk in the actual cryptocurrency itself. I'll get into like a little bit of this. I don't know how much people care about this, but like the FTX thing is like a huge change in the way that cryptocurrency is going, because the problem with cryptocurrency is that the value of cryptocurrency was decentralization. It was that like we didn't have a controlling body that commanded where cryptocurrency went, thus risk was averted, right? But what happened with FTX was somebody controlled that with 5 million people via an exchange, and then of course once they scam everybody, then everybody's screwed. So that's centralization. What happened was cryptocurrency centralized in one place, just out of virtue of making it easier for people to invest, right? And as a result, tons of people got screwed. There's a lot of bad actors. I think that now that people have seen FTX, similar to Mt. Gox, it represents an ice age for cryptocurrency. I don't know for how long, but for a long time, because it's very hard to trust the parties that are behind it. So I think the only thing that gets cryptocurrency out of that chasm right now is probably regulation, where there are regulated exchanges that evaluate the finances of these companies and make sure that doesn't happen again. So I think we're in a crypto dark age, and it's going to be a long time until anything develops from that. Okay. I'd love to see a video going into detail about the process and journey you can expect starting immediately after a potential sponsor reaches out to a creator. There's a lot of focus in many places on just getting good enough to get a sponsor. What does it look like once it happens? E.g., media kits and rate cards, contract pitfalls, and different types of... Yeah. God, it's like... The problem is that, like, that is a series. I would have to make a series. That's almost like a course, and I don't sell courses. There's just so much to know about that. You're basically like, how do I be my own agent? And, like, there's just so much to know about that that I wouldn't even be able to approach that question generally. But I'll pin it so I think more about it. Yeah. Rewatching your final stream from Twitch, I got this quote and wanted some more nuance. If you want to be an anomaly, start acting like one. What part of oneself would you say is the most influential by being anomalous? Behavior, ideas, attitudes. What did you mean by this, or what does it mean to you? What an incredible question this is. This is a super awesome question. Oh, man. Okay. I'm going to answer it in a way I don't think that people expect. Being an anomaly doesn't mean doing things that are different from other people. It means doing things that other people won't do consistently. So let me give you an example. I go do strength training Monday, Wednesday, Friday every single week. If I miss a day occasionally, I will I'll just go do it next time. But I don't miss days. And at least 2 times a week, if not 3 times a week, I go to hot yoga and I train in hot yoga. I really don't want to go, but an hour and a half from now, I will go. It's currently Sunday at the time of this filming, and I don't want to go, but I will go because I know I need to go, right? So I'm an anomaly in the sense that I am consistently applying very easy things to do, right? Like the things that make me an anomaly are not like being super intelligent or being able to connect things or make logical leaps in my mind, or anything like that. Like anything that you would consider exceptional. Like, stop considering an anomaly to be exceptional. Anomalies are people that work out every day. Anomalies are people that eat well every day. Anomalies are people that do true deep work every day. Those are really rare. You don't see those people at all. They're obvious. It's super obvious stuff. They do the things that everyone knows that you need to do every single day, and then they get results. That's it. Like, there's nothing to it. There's no luck. There's no so real anomalies are people that are consistently applying a disciplined framework, and they're not giving up on it. The vast majority of people that I remember, I'll use the yoga example. It's kind of a fun one because I've been doing yoga since I got introduced to it like 8 or 9 years ago. Must have been like more. I think I got introduced to it around the time I was in CLG, which was like 2016 or so. So I started going, and I really loved it, and I just kept pushing it, and it was hard, and it sucked. And I would just remember the number of people that I would take to go with me. So hot yoga, for people that don't like really follow it, it's, imagine like what people are like, yoga is like pretty relaxing, right? No. Like, okay, so like if it's like power yoga in 110 degrees for an hour, and it's just continuous. It's really hard. Every single person to a man that I took to that never stayed consistent with it, but I did. So that makes me an anomaly. Now, am I better than them? No. Am I smarter, faster? No. I just kept going. And as a result, it has had untold health benefits on me. I mean, just things I can't even tell you. Now, I could apply that also to, like, I read about 2 books a month. I've been doing that since I got out of college. And that's a long enough time now that, like, it really adds up. So I'm reading 24 books a year minimum extra. That's not including audiobooks or podcasts. And that really adds up in terms of your base total knowledge. It's not that hard to read 2 books. I just do it, right? You just build these routines, and that makes you anomalous. So we are looking for the exceptions to the rule. Like, humanity is built on exceptions, looking for exceptions. Like, when your ancestors evolved as hunters, you're looking for the exceptions to the environment. You're looking for the tracks on the ground. You're looking for the broken branches where the animals were. But like our current society is not conducive to exceptions. Where we look at every exception, every Instagram star, every person with 1 million followers, every Mr. Beast. Everybody we're trained to look for these exceptions. But nobody is looking at the people that are just doing the same fucking thing every day. And those are the ones that are succeeding, including Jimmy, right? Like, those are the people that are doing it. They're just putting the work into their craft every single day. So when I say be an anomaly, it means I think the average person runs that check in their mind today. I'm tired. I worked all week. I did a bunch of shit. I really want to play Dark Tide really bad, but I'm going to go do hot yoga, because shut up, conquer your inner bitch, and go do it, right? Like, and then like, there it is. Then all of a sudden I'm on that mat. I decided to go, and now when I'm on the mat, I'll just go through it. And then once I'm done, I'll be, thank God I did that, right? Oh, like, and then the hardest part for people is, like, the next day, there it is again. When you wake up, it's a new war every single time. Most people, I think, this Sunday today, will make the decision to not go eventually, but I won't, and that makes me an anomaly, and that can make you an anomaly. And what's inspiring about that, and it's so cool about it, is that anybody can fucking do that. Like, literally anyone. There is no gatekeeper. It's just that mental discipline and self-discipline and making that decision over and over again is so hard. But you do it with other things. Like, you do it with like whatever your bad habit is, smoking, not brushing your teeth, fucking whatever, right? Like, you're doing that anyway. So it's just coding your brain to realize that the really truly rewarding things are, like, not the immediate dopamine hits. Okay, let's keep going. Hi, what is the smallest content creator you've ever worked with, and how did they grow? It'd be interesting to see your reasoning when approaching someone who's not entirely affirmed by any platform. I mean, I've worked with tons of content creators that are starting from zero. Tons and tons and tons. Probably the most prominent one that I could recommend you to is just watch my YouTube video, Exactly How to Grow from 0 to 100 Viewers on Twitch, which is a video that I cover with a Magic the Gathering streamer and basically answers your question directly. Hi, does Novo currently work with nonprofits to fundraise? We do, but I don't like talking about that publicly. So I'm just gonna keep going. The reason is because I don't ever want to be one of those people that's like, donate to charity. I'm amazing. Whoa, like those YouTubers that like go film and like give money to homeless people and shit. Like, yeah, I'm people that look hard enough will find some of my philanthropic stuff. I don't care. I don't care. I don't do that shit for the publicity. I'm in the gaming niche and was just approached by a gaming company to make stuff. Okay, they're looking to pay me $100. Oh, this is like a whole thing. Jesus. Okay. So he's got like his video views and comments and shares. Hi, I'm Kyle. Our budget for this video is $100. Yeah, you should not do this. So you're saying for something that gets 364,000 views, they're gonna give you $100? That's dumb as hell. You should charge you should charge like a $12 CPM on it. What the fuck? You should charge like, I don't know, like, you're crazy, man. So yeah, I charge like $5K for that, like minimum on TikTok. Yeah, you're getting screwed. Very interested to get your thoughts on the monetization change rumored to be coming for Twitch partners. So that already happened, and I covered it in a video. Dark mode for the Notepad app. No, never. How dare you? Get out of here. First of all, thank you for showing your insight on many different topics. You're welcome. I've been following your videos since your interview with Code Miko. You explain your topics where you use Notepad as a writing tool. Oh, this literal whole thing is a grift for Notepad. There's a free app called Notepad Apps. The app has dark mode. Yeah, I'm never going to use that. See, no. N-O. You can't improve perfect. And for you to suggest it so is an affront towards God. Notepad is the perfect app. Not Notepad++. Not dark mode. Okay, get out of here. Hi, it's interesting if you made a YouTube video on podcasts. Okay. Maybe. That's not a question. It's just a suggestion. The idea of finding out how you could put value into the world by looking into your surroundings and figuring out what needs help to be done is fascinating. All right. My question is it possible to, instead of looking to our surroundings at what needs value added, we look more inward and find the value that needs to be created from there? And if so, how can we practically achieve that? Some people, it's easy to love an instrument. Some people, it's easy for medicine. Okay, let me tell you your problem. You think too much. You're way too in your head. None of this shit matters. I think the fundamental question you're asking is, like, how do you determine how to create value in the world? And the answer is, you look at the problems that are around you and you see which one you want to try to solve. That's it. You don't need to think about this like, do I need to go internal or external? That's like way too in your head type of BS that's like never going to serve you. There's so much information out there now that you can get caught up really quickly in these traps where like your mind just like loops on stuff like this, where you're like, what is value? Should I go more introspective or extrospective? Should I look within? What is needs? What is God? What is? You just stop. What problems do you see around you? Are there hungry people? Are there people that don't have a certain product? Are there people that need emotional support? Is there not enough housing for homeless people in your city? Is there just a lack of slinkies and you need to make some? Just look around at the world and say, what are the problems that need to be solved? And then start trying to solve those problems and then see if you like it. The problem is that we can write out all these paragraphs and questions of these things in our head, but you're never actually doing anything, right? You're just writing a Discord message. Whereas if you went out and actually tried to solve a problem, you would go out, I mean go volunteer somewhere or just go do something, physically do something in the world. There's this whole culture of people now that are just like thinking, and they're just thinking constantly. They're thinking on Reddit. They're thinking on Discord. They're thinking on the internet. But none of that really exists. Like what really exists is like you and me and our problems. So just focus on that. Hi, Devin. It could be a disadvantage to be Hispanic and stream obviously in English. With this, I mean Twitch somehow recognizes my location and puts me in a bad position, like even more low discoverability. No, that's not possible. Twitch doesn't have any discoverability, so it won't be like we're. It's actually so funny. Twitch is not going to be like, oh, this guy's Hispanic, we better derake him. That is not a thing. What is a thing, though, is that because you speak Spanish and English, you have a huge advantage. And you should put ES/SP in your title and address both parties. But now you get two demographics instead of one. Twitch is not holding you down, like Twitch is holding you down just because Twitch is not a platform for discoverability. But you as a Hispanic person have an advantage. I wish I spoke Spanish. That'd be awesome. They're not going to hold you back because you're Mexican. When you say you look at growth metrics and trends over 90-day periods, how frequently do you analyze them? I just do it all the time. But I don't look at my own growth metrics. For all content creators listening to this, the most important advice you will get in 2023 is just focus on your storytelling. Make your video as interesting to watch as possible, or your article, or your text, or your tweet, whatever. That's it. That's all. Nothing else. I could not even tell you a single analytic on my YouTube right now. My CTR, my AVD, I don't know. I could tell you I could tell you what all of them mean and why they're important. But I don't care. I just make good stories. And that's it. The most important metric on YouTube right now is average watch time, CTR, and percentage drop off of average percentage viewed. Hi, I've seen you say before the market flat rates for videos are $25 to $75. Market flat rates for thumbnails are $10 to $20. Yeah, if I said that, that's like not true. I would say editing videos nowadays is like $75 to $150. Well, probably when I said it, it was true. I pay $40 to $50 per thumbnail now. Some people like Mr. Beast pay like $1,000 per thumbnail. So it's just relative. Like there's no real way to price this stuff. It's just like important not to overprice it for what you get. Is there a market for short form content? No, it's all over the place. Hi, I'm a huge fan. Been watching your videos for almost 3 years. Thanks. I was wondering if you at some point planned on making a video on why Twitch is not profitable. Whenever I have a discussion with another viewer, they assume like most of Twitch is printing money. They forget about 99.9%. Twitch chat completely lacks the education and expense that Twitch has. A lot of people want this. Okay, I'll make a video on it. I feel like I've covered a lot of it. I mean, the really short of it is why Twitch is losing so much money is just because they can't. The cost of running a live streaming service, which is like really high, it's too high. The cost is too high compared to the money that you can make off of subscriptions and ads, and that's like the really simple answer. When you say like the disconnect between Twitch chat, like thinking people print money, like Twitch is printing money. Yeah, the disconnect between like real information and people on so many subjects is worrisome. I think about the like few things that I'm an expert at and how many people get shit wrong on the stuff I know is right. And then I think about all the stuff I don't know and I'm like, shit, who knows anything? Nobody really knows anything. Hi, I've been out of touch for a while now. Is Devin full YouTube? Yep, because I just have no reason to be on Twitch. And I also am running my company full time, which takes a lot of time. So I'm just doing that. Speaking of the previous yoga question, I have to real quick DM someone for a ride. and then we'll get back to the video. Sorry about that. Okay. Whew. Netflix plans to enroll a live streaming category. Probably not. Curious to your thoughts on the future of this. Man, do I want to go into the whole like Netflix like business model? I really appreciate what you do for the community. Thank you so much. I don't think I really want to do it, but Netflix and likewise services have a problem right now where it's like the cost of creating content is in the tens of millions of dollars, but to consistently create content that viewers are going to stay subscribed for requires billions and billions of dollars of investment. Yet a subscription-based model provides a flat source of income and reoccurring revenue based on how many people are subscribed. So there's no way to scale that business. And to some extent, every company, but Netflix in particular, is going to run into that problem where like the value add and like a lot of you canceling in the past 6 months, you might just say there is just not enough stuff to watch on here. Now that a lot of the old content that has been around has been kind of cycled through, sure, you get a new episode of like you get a new season of like Stranger Things every once in a while or whatever. And occasionally like a really good show like Chernobyl comes out on HBO or like Succession or something. But beyond that, there's a lot of dead time that people are going to start realizing we don't want to be subscribed to all this stuff and pay all this money per month. The problem is that, or the answer is that all these services should get together and say, well, shit, let's just like combine our content. But you have like people like, you have these obscure services that are trying to, that everyone's trying to make a subscription service for their own content that they're licensed to. So it's just kind of a mess and nobody will combine it. And I don't foresee that like getting better. So probably people that are going to own the future of like content distribution on platforms like Netflix are going to be like people like Amazon or like Google, like YouTube Video, where there's a huge profitable business that is fronting the cost of building content, which is why you can like semi-justify like $1 billion on 3 seasons of Lord of the Rings, even though I just don't think the ROAS on that like makes any sense. But yeah, that's the answer. Do you think that streaming is good for for people who are more logical, analytical than artistic? Video where you said that broadcasting is like art. Do you think that people who are more robotic and less EQ that concede on Twitch and gaming platforms? This is actually a really good question. I actually think that if you've thought about like how to create content and like YouTube algorithms and stuff like that, you're already at like a huge disadvantage on Twitch and YouTube, because like the best people are the people that just like create without much mental barrier to that. And unfortunately, like logic and analytic, like logical, we've been taught to believe that like logics and analytics are like what creates content, but it's not. It's like your ability to be empathetic with humanity and understand what evokes emotion. I just made a video on Patreon that's really good. It's just about like how content goes viral and why. And if you understand intuitively how to like evoke emotion in people, that like a lot of artistic people think about in that way. How do I evoke fear? How do I evoke anger? How do I evoke creativity? How do I evoke joy or excitement? Then you're much more successful as a content creator, because we respond as human beings to like emotion. And most people like that are trying to like chase the algorithms, they're literally chasing the tail of the real creature. The real creature is the art itself. It's the content. It's the story itself. And humanity will always be attached to a beautiful story, and will always share it, and that will always get out there. And they'll always be attached to a strong like evocation of emotion. But if you're just like trying to make something that you think will work, you lose soul. Watch my video, why no one watches your content on YouTube is what it's called. There's a component of content creation and creation of everything in general that's called soul. I call it soul. And soul means that like there's something that embodies this thing in me that I can't explain. So like if you ever seen a dead person, it doesn't feel like they're there anymore. It's really weird how to describe it. And in exactly the same way, A lot of people create content with the objective of succeeding or getting views or whatever, but there is no feeling inside of it. It feels dead. And it's really crazy how intuitive human beings are. You can go to a stream or you can go to a YouTube video, you will instantly have this feeling if the content's just dead. The person just doesn't like care. There's no passion. They're lacking that soul. You know it. So soul is something that cannot be manufactured and it can't be algorithmically designed. We're starting to see a world where AI is duplicating things that have soul in it, like art, and that's really cool. But as far as content creation goes, in concern to like human-made long-form video or writing or live streaming, yeah, if you don't have soul and you don't focus on soul, you're going to be at a huge disadvantage. Now, you can develop soul. I did, because I'm a logical, analytical guy, but I built soul. I built soul off of going to improv. I built soul off of learning like about humanity and psychology, but that's the direction I went. I didn't go towards the algorithm. I went like towards soul. I think it's done really well. Devin going to make a video about Act Man and Quantum TV. I'd never give a shit about any of that stuff. No idea what that's about. This sounds it's like any kind of drama shit I will never make a video about. What's a good meditation book to read after Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind? That's Suzuki's book, right? Dropping Ashes on the Buddha is a very good Zen book if you're interested in it. Maybe I'll recommend that. Hi, I think your content is sublime. Thanks. Why don't more streamers take emotes as strategic marketing seriously? Because they're brain dead when it comes to business knowledge. Any thoughts on VTubing and VTubers? Yeah, my recent thought on VTubing is that there is a huge opening for VTubers to be controversial and collab. And in the beginning of VTubing, like there was a lot of collaboration, particularly with like VShojo and stuff like that. And it's kind of like been a little bit less. A lot of them kind of doing their own thing. I think there's like a real opening for VTubers that make drama about VTubing and make videos about VTubing and about other VTubers, because VTubers are really drama focused. And so if I made a digital avatar and changed my voice to a fox creature and I just talk trash about Neanders and Silvervale and everybody, I would Vebe or whatever, I would get so many views. There's like the whole VTubing community kind of relies on the sort of kindness of those top figures. And while there's a little bit of drama, there's like nothing like, and like this is just a particular audience that will really eat it up. So like VTubing is missing like a super, like a Keemstar level, like controversial person who just puts everyone on blast. The person that figures that out will be really successful. You can see I don't attach any kind of good and evil to marketing, but that's just interesting. Turn the DMCA free music channel into an announcements channel. Maybe. I don't know. I don't think enough people care. We just see Devin cover the ads incentive program. You've gone over it quite thoroughly. A lot of people seem to be in it a viewer experience versus making money. Love your work and hope your move to Texas has gone good. Okay, so we're in Texas at this point. That's good. We're catching up, boys. Yeah, I've done a lot of work on the ad incentive program, some YouTube videos in the public sphere. Suffice to say that everybody should run ads if you can. You should run like, however X many per hour is good. But yeah, I think referring to my specific work on YouTube, unless you have more specific questions, I think I've done the work on that. What does the lack of return on live viewership engagement mean for esports tournaments, besides the fact that a lot of cases the viewers are just in beds? Good question. It means that advertisers are becoming more aware that the ROAS on let's describe ROAS. It's a really important term. Return on advertising spend. Return is subjective though. So if I spend $1, okay, sometimes I want $1 back in product. Or sometimes I want some more subjective things like exposure or a clip made or posts, people talking about it. There's a lot of ways to evaluate ROAS. This is basically something that I work on this all day. Is like, how do I get return on advertising spend concurrent with like what my client wants? And I can tell you that like esports tournaments do not provide any ROAS at all for anybody under any way you define the term. The only real exception to that would be like the happiness you get from seeing your team that you sunk millions of dollars in win. But there's like no financial transaction that makes any kind of sense when sponsoring esports tournaments. And I think that investors, advertisers, and VCs are starting to understand that. So I think, as I predicted they would years ago, that at this point, your question is interesting because you ask live viewership engagement. I would just say that like there's just no return in sponsoring esports tournaments or teams in 2023. We're in a recession. Advertising dollars need to be spent on things that will return meaningful product engagement. Like if I'm selling you something, I'm going to make less of a play to get that product exposed, except to establish brand legitimacy. But I will make more of an effort to drive engagement towards people actually buying that product. And esports tournaments are absolutely the worst thing you can sponsor, I think. I would rather sponsor a billboard than put advertising dollars towards an esports tournament. Even for a demographic that directly, like for a gaming mouse, I'd rather put a billboard up. It's that bad. And maybe I could do a more specific question if you want. What does a recession mean for the creator economy? How to best prepare for a rockier future? Great question, deserves its own video. I'm going to pin it. I'll pin all the questions that deserve their own videos. This kind of recession is really dangerous for all economies because of this is an inflationary recession. So everything costs more, but advertising spend goes down. So all creators are negatively affected. I started watching your videos in late 2021. Your passion for understanding growth in the creator agency resonates with me. Creator industry. Thank you. I don't create my own content. I've worked closely with small streamers who do. Okay. What would be your advice for someone who wants to break into the industry of managing creators rather than being a creator themselves? Someone wants to be the right-hand man or facilitator, making things as easy and seamless for pros. Yeah, you want to be a manager. So like your model is get paid per month, take 10% of every deal you break in, 10 to 20%. Lots of people want this question answered. So this is one of those questions where unfortunately there just isn't an easy answer. I'm going to still give you value, but there's just like nothing I'm going to tell you that's like going to break the mold, right? The easiest way to get in front of broadcasters is start emailing a few mid-sized creators like 1,000 to 5,000 CCV on Twitch, no larger, 100,000 to 500,000 subscribers on YouTube with like 50 to 150K per view videos, and just saying like, is there anything I can help you with? Start building your roster, start getting into the business. There are no certifications or courses or anything you can take. And the idea of being a manager for a broadcaster is not hard. Your main day-to-day, if you're good at it, is reaching out to brands, trying to get cash deals, and exploring ways for that creator to grow. I've done this for years. I manage some of the largest broadcasters on Twitch and YouTube. I don't think that this is a good business model or something that most people should pursue. I think working with an agency that's like actively doing it is like more interesting. But the problem is like you're attaching your success to another person, and like let's say that like you manage a creator and they're going to be like 70% of your business, but then all of a sudden they just like peace out for a couple of months, right? Like that's not a good business to build a back end on. I just don't have like it's such a general question that I just can't answer it. I guess I guess I should just like move on because it's a really good question. But it's so fucking general. Like, how do I become an agent? How do I like, I don't know, like go email people and be like, I'll do some stuff for you. Figure it out on the fly. Like I like it's a low quality question. It's just a really good question. So maybe you can ask something more specific, and I'll be able to address it. Hi, I found an old video of yous. I'd be interested in a reply here. Is reality just an illusion? Essentially, it seems that leading science in the field shows spiritually has said for 1,000 years, none of this is truly real, that reality is an illusion. I'd be really interested on your views on this. Oh my God, do people actually care about this? Leave a comment if you actually care about this. I'll get into it a little bit. So Buddha's sitting there and he's doing his thing. The guy comes up to him and is like, Buddha, I have questions about angels and demons. And he goes, okay. He goes, are angels and demons real? Buddha says, don't worry about it. He says, is magic real? Don't worry about it. Is reality real? Don't worry about it, right? Why do you keep saying don't worry about it? and the Buddha basically says, any metaphysical concern that you have, being that, is there God? Is there not God? Is there reality? Is reality illusion? Do we live in a simulation? Do we not? Is that tree real? Is it not? Is that grandma a ghost, or are they really staring at me because I just dropped something in the grocery store? Whatever it is, right? These metaphysical concepts cannot serve you in this current life. If it is reality or it isn't reality, if it is an illusion or it is an illusion, none of this stuff actually affects our day-to-day of our life. None of it does, right? Whether I live in a simulation or not appears to have no real recourse on the way that I exist. So I structure my belief systems fundamentally on what is, and I don't worry about metaphysics. Now, that's because I have a very strong Buddhist background. And when I say Buddhism, some people that are more familiar might be like, well, wait a minute, like Buddhism talks all the time about crazy shit and ghosts and stuff. No, that's like Mahayana Buddhism, like the worshiping Buddhism. But if you look at what the Buddha said about this, which like I think the Theravada traditions and Zen really focus on, if you look at what he said, it's don't worry about this shit, because it can't impact your experience. Your experience right now is suffering, is joy, is cold, is hot. These are these things that are affecting you right now. And back to the question where I said we're just like way too focused on these like really weird things that don't impact us, these like thought loops. This just kind of gets you stuck. Like, you will never solve the problem of whether reality is an illusion or not, because once we get down to like a quantum physical level, nothing makes sense, right? Like the quarks and the the electrons and the very small particles, like they appear in multiple different places at once and multiple times. And while it's interesting to pursue these things, they don't really matter to your core experience. So if you are a scientist that is pursuing this stuff and you're very fascinated in this field, then it matters to your core experience because you're kind of unraveling, discovering these things. But I think it's a black box. I think it's something that will always have another layer to it, no matter how much we discover. And there are some practical applications of these things that can filter over into life. Again, if you're like a practitioner, maybe you've discovered like fiber optics or something as a result of some kind of change in physical properties that you used to understand, or your research has. But for the vast majority of people thinking about this, it's just not helpful. So I'm really focused on my current present experience and the experience that I'm likely to shape for myself in the future based on direct input. So if I meditate or I don't meditate that day, right, where I can see a noticeable change in focus, if I eat pizza versus salad, or if I work out versus not working out, right? These are things that I think impact my direct experience that I am interested in. I'm not interested in reality being an illusion or not, because I can never really solve that problem, and I also like don't think it impacts me whether it is or not, right? I unless like breaking through the illusion means that I can like fly like Neo in the Matrix, but like again, there's been no record of that happening. There's nobody like able to do that. I think that some of the Zen Buddhists that I have interacted with over time, they've been able to pierce that veil. So like some of the top people that I've ever worked with or spent time with, or any of the like retreats that I do, I've seen people that I think have pierced that veil, and they don't seem to be any different. I mean, they're like happier, for whatever reason. But whatever they saw on the other side of the source wall Just it wasn't enough to like meaningfully change their experience. They're still human. They still put their pants on two legs. Like the best enlightened spiritual masters in Tibet, the second and third to the Dalai Lama that I've met, like all these guys, they put their robes on and they sit and meditate and they eat and they smile and they laugh and they live the human experience. So whatever's on the side of that, like whatever's on the other side of that wall, even if they saw it, it just doesn't matter. Like it's like what you are right now, your present is all that matters, and what you can directly impact through your own input, which turns out to be very little. So what you can control, you ought to. Yeah, so that's my take on that. But thank you for your question. Mm-hmm. Hi, I haven't been keeping up with Twitch at all for some years, and randomly saw a clip of Jasmine. Is she okay? Yeah, she's fine. We're still together. We're really happy. Yeah, we live together. She would not want me to like go into it all, just because she's like a pretty private person, believe it or not. So suffice to say, we are together. We're super happy. I mean, she's literally the best thing I think that has ever happened to me. And I don't know if she feels the same, but she's happy. Yeah, I don't have her locked up in a closet somewhere. You know, she's there on her own volition, and she's doing cool things. So if you wanted to know more, you'd have to ask her. Hi, I just finished watching your recent video on esports. Cool. And wonder what your thoughts are on Rocket League. Rocket League's cool. Rocket League's like FGC. It's one of those little categories of like niche esports that like has a lot of potential, and it's one of the very few places that esports actually makes sense. A lot of the sponsorships and money that goes into like stuff like FGC and esports like has a pretty good return on advertising spend, whereas like stuff like COD just like doesn't make any sense or anything like that. Yeah, I'm big on Rocket League. Love it. Hi, can we see the data you pulled on information that TikTok collects on its users? Given that you said you agree with the U.S. government on it being a national security risk, do you believe this platform to be worthwhile for larger creators from a cost-benefit analysis? Good question. Great question. I am not going to publicly show the data that I pulled on TikTok, but we just literally connected a Raspberry Pi and just intercepted what was going to the servers. It's something anybody can do, and I guarantee you could probably Google this and find it. In like 10 seconds. Like we did nothing unique. Like we just literally looked at where they literally the tags to what was being sent, and we found. I mean, this has got to be public, right? Like everything from physical location to like everything you're doing on your phone you can imagine is there. I completely agree that TikTok is like probably the number one, like really close to like the number one national security risk. For sure. But that said, is it worth it for creators to be on it? Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. Privacy is kind of dead. You have to make your own like kind of internal judgment if like the price of using TikTok is worth it. You could like for me it's too high, and that's why I'm not on the platform. But not because it's of the information, but just because I actually think like So TikTok being a national security risk is a multi-layered thing. I don't want to get too weird here, but my core belief is that TikTok in America is probably destroying our youth and probably destroying your mind by making you a 6-second goldfish and consuming hours and hours of your time on shit that doesn't matter. And that's one of the reasons why I think it's a national security risk, not just because of the information they collect. So, that said, I'm extremely worried about TikTok's existence existentially. But I also do work for them, and I do think there's like great creators on there that espouse good things. Nothing is ever like black and white, and like TikTok can provide a lot of value to people that are looking in the right places. I know some people that just have business stuff, nonfiction business stuff on their feed, and it's like really helpful. The vast majority of TikTok users are probably using it in a way that's self-destructive, though. And for all creators, like, yeah, if you don't mind the stuff I just talked about, like, I mean, there's absolutely a lot of opportunity there. Yeah. Do you know anything about Meta testing new live streaming platforms for influencers? I know a lot about that, but that's a way too general question for me to. You gotta do specific questions. I would love to see a breakdown on how to charge for sponsored streams on Twitch. This is covered pricing on other socials. Okay. I'll think about doing that. Let me pin it. and maybe I'll make a video about it. I do have a lot of videos about this, though. Hitch, that's our Path of Exile friend. With social media taking off recently in popularity of rage drama to generate clicks and engagement, will this ever be adopted by normal companies outside of entertainment, or sadly the political industry? Why or why not? Phenomenal question. Unfortunately, I think we've successfully entered an era where negative emotion, the evocation of things like anxiety, fear, worry, negativity, are the majority of the media cycle, both the influencer media cycle and the media cycle. For people that are watching this video currently, I'm on a big media kick where I'm hitting the media pretty hard because recently I've seen a huge uptick in publications that I used to really believe in posting information that is just fucking wrong. And there's egregious examples of this in FTX, where for whatever reason there are multiple publications that are upholding FTX and particularly SBF, the main character behind that, as like these like philanthropic organizations that were affected by a down market. When in reality, make no mistake, FTX is a fucking grift. It was a scam. Okay. Likewise with this Twitter nonsense, with all of these people that are reporting all this doom and gloom at Twitter, and it's just factually wrong. Just looking at the real empirical data that's provided by Twitter and provided by third party data aggregators. Things like hate speech is up. No, it's not. Right? Like we can look at the API. It's not. Like it's not. So it's really annoying. But one of the things I don't really talk about is that the influencer cycle of is also doing that, and now it feels like the influencer cycle oftentimes now just uses the media cycle and they kind of feed off each other. The result is like this rage drama to generate clicks and engagement that you're talking about is now the sort of state of affairs. I think we're already at the point where your question suggests. I think that the political sphere is certainly charged by that, and we will see more of this as time goes on. Now, that said, I do also think that increases the room for a positively oriented or positively charged kind of like person to start making like feel good content that works in this field and build an empire based on the opposite stuff, because all of the people who are exhausted by the media cycle will filter into that person who's presenting this stuff with like empirical and great data in a positive way. I think there's a very powerful counterbalance that some people could hopefully we have lots of people utilize to get us out of this. Like, this is something I've been thinking about for a long time here, and that's just like the sheer amount of negativity. I feel like I'm a person that curates a lot of the content that I watch, and I spend a lot of time pursuing things that like high value podcasts with like long form interviews with successful people and like good news and things like that. But despite that, I feel I'm constantly bombarded by negativity. Constantly I get long COVID articles that we've discovered that this is going to have permanent neurological systems, like humanity is doomed, the recession, like nobody's ever going to get out of it, Ukraine and Russia. It just seems endless. Like nothing is working out. Everything is breaking down. Everybody is unhappy. Depression is like at an all time. It's just so fucking exhausting to be in this media cycle. I'm so tired of it that I just want to shut myself in a room and just realize like my day to day is not this shit. So I'm thinking a lot about this problem, that like there's got to be a way to build this empire back up, counterbalance all this bullshit on good. Because if you look at the actual research, right, a lot of the whole negativity drives controversy and drives engagement is derived from one study. I just talked about it in my Patreon video. That one study says analyzed 7,000 articles and found that the emotional evocation of negative energy drives a lot more engagement. But what a lot of people what a lot of people ignore about that study is that positive emotion that's evoked also drives engagement. Joy, amusement. Amusement was number one. Joy, right? So you can build an empire based on this. It's just that controversy is the low-hanging fruit. Any idiot can say, this person's a fucking dumb, and or we're all gonna die, and then everyone's like, oh my God, right? Like that negative low-hanging fruit is just so easy. But I think for people that want to like counterbalance this, like more than anything in this world, we need that positivity. And yeah, I'm thinking about how to do that. I'm really thinking about how to do that. Okay. We've got some really cool questions about like leadership that I'm really looking forward to, and some esports questions. So I will answer those in the next video because we have hit just about an hour and I've got to go get to yoga. So guys, thank you very much and gals, thank you very much for coming out for this video. I hope that it was insightful, or at least some of the answers brought you some kind of joy as you listen to this. And I'll see you again soon, okay? Thanks, everybody. Bye.